January is Poverty Awareness Month. All right. And I know my promotion said the beautiful and cute Miss Nadine Ellis would be on, but instead on your screen is the handsome Mr. Keith Simon. We'll take him, ladies and gentlemen. We will take him. Mr. Simon, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, good evening. The ladies could take me, the gentlemen not so much, okay?
That's okay. I thank you because I did receive a message from Nadine, who is always on Talking Finance on the Wayne Hall Show. I did get a message from her that she had a bit of an emergency, and so you would be here. So I'm glad you've made it. I apologize for the delay, but we'll get it done. All right. So what I want to start off is by letting the audience know that as we go along, we learn and discover things. And one of the things I learned as I'm researching topics for the Wayne Hall Show this month of January is that January is also Poverty Awareness Month. And you know, it's one of those things that sounds so lightly, but I don't know how much time you had to prepare. But do you want to just first of all, tell us a little bit about you? I did have a little blurb on Nadine that I like to share, but tell us about you and your background.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Wayne. We've known each other for a very long time as well. But
Yes.
my name is Keith Simon. It's literally Keithlin Simon, here from the 365 beach island of Antigua. Please go there. You know, myself and my wonderful friend Nadine always fight about that. You know, I say that Jamaica is nice, been there, but Antigua is a little bit of paradise. All right, so there's no fight there. Okay, we're not gonna fight over that. I'm not gonna take on another another task because you look like you're ready to fight me on that one as well. So
My last fight with an Antiguan did not go well, and it took me years to get her back to being in good stead with me. So I will not fight another Antiguan. I promise you that.
I don't think I'm that bad. But yeah, myself and Nadine has been working together about 10 years now. We actually went to high school together, and literally found each other um, through going through life, and ended up doing similar things, and eventually we are now in the financial industry doing working very closely together. So when she called me, I literally just pick up the phone and said absolutely, you know. Uh, so yeah, I via New York to from Antigua to New York, spent a lot of time in New York, in New York City area. Again, grew up in I actually lived in Harlem when everybody else lived in the Bronx. Okay, everybody live in Bronx and Brooklyn. I actually live in Harlem. So you got to know Harlem to say Harlem.
Right,
Okay.
which I
uh,
know. Yeah,
yes. So
good.
from there, two lovely parents, been together forever. Obviously, before I was even born, they're still together today, which to me is a really good blessing for me. So, grew up with a lot of morals, fighting a lot of morals and scruples, but eventually came right back to them. So, that's just a little about me.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, sir. And so let's dive into this poverty. From your vantage point, what do you have to share about poverty? There's a lot of angles to go at it. They actually have Poverty Awareness Month to bring attention to the fact that there are people, not just in the United States, but all over the world, that literally get up on a day to day basis not knowing what they're going to have to eat or drink, some not knowing where they're going to rest their head at night. And it's their reality. And a lot more people face this than we realize.
Man, where do I start? So let's start. Let's. So this is a blessing in disguise, by the way. I think the master set us up so many times just so that this can happen. Um, I'm a social worker by trade,
Okay.
so 18 plus years of social work. I know poverty. within the United within the 50 states, including of course Georgia. So let's start with as you said, let's start with some powerful statistics. 40%, 40.6 million Americans live in poverty today. It may be actually a little bit more than that. It may actually be a little bit more than that. So for a household of, think about a household of four people, the poverty level is about $26,000. That's no more than about six and a half or $650 per person.
Wow.
Per person for the year. So imagine you living on $6,550 for the year.
That I don't even know if it's how do you do that?
Possible. It's impossible.
Yes.
So what do people end up doing? Is living off of, as we say, the country, living off of us,
Welfare.
right? Welfare, right? But of course, welfare, being in the social service industry, is unfair. So we would rather be kept, psychologically kept in poverty, not knowing what poverty really is, because we think that we can eat, like you said, on a day to day basis without having anything to eat. We know for sure. Let me give you something crazy. One gentleman said to me a couple of years ago, "I just go to jail every winter." You may have heard of that before.
I've heard that.
I go to jail every winter. Summer I come out, I do something just something just off the wall so that I can go to jail, or so that I go back into a mental institution every winter, just so that I can eat. In the summertime, he does not have to do that because he's eating, near I say, out of the garbage pail or garbage cans.
So, what I'd like to do here is just go over quickly some of the stuff I saw about the impacts. And I want you, from your vantage point, Keith, to be prepared to share how we can stop and prevent or slow down poverty affecting our next generation, for affecting our people. But some of the effects of poverty is that it affects children. Children are more likely to be affected by poverty than adults.
Yes.
Children are at a higher risk of starvation, disease, abuse, and exploitation. Poverty,
Yes.
whether or not we believe it, is global. It exists here in the United States. We hear about third world countries a lot, but there's a lot of poverty here.
Yes.
It occurs in unexpected locations and affects people everywhere. It's the
Yes.
leading cause of hunger, of course, it would be. And it impacts education. And even in the schools, you have Title One schools, etc. That is based on the number of free and reduced meals they have to provide to their
Yes.
students. So, children in poverty may not have access to nutritious food or proper
Yes.
education, right?
Yes.
And children in poverty are more likely to get sick due to poor nutrition and lack of access to health care. And it goes on and on. There's secondary factors like poor infrastructure, lack of skills, underemployment, which makes it hard for them. And so I'm teeing this up for you to position themselves, barring a miracle or something very, as you say, a social worker that you'd probably know of, maybe avenues that can literally turn that life around. They're gonna be in a position where they just continue that legacy of poverty. So please share with us, having heard all these impacts, how one can make sure that you not fall under the poverty line, and how you can do things to enhance your financial situation and prevent that in your future generations.
Man, I think I'm not needed in this interview here.
No, I need you because that's where the
I'm
expert
kidding,
comes in.
of course. Of course. I'm kidding, of course. I have one word, or two words, if you will: financial literacy.
Financial literacy.
Financial literacy. A lot of people are scared of that term, financial literacy. But let me tell you, 40% of Americans struggle from paycheck to paycheck. If your father and mother are struggling from paycheck to paycheck, then how can they teach you what to do as a child when it comes taking care of your finances as you grow older? So it starts from us, because unfortunately, the older folks, older than us, right, 50s, late 50s, 60s, 70s, and older, they also have not been taught financial literacy. So we're in a sandwich generation, right? So we have to teach ourselves. We have to take care of them. So we have to also teach them. We have to teach them what retirement is and how they can retire and how they can retire comfortably. Unfortunately, we have to teach people how to pay themselves first. What do I mean by that is we go and we make sure we have a roof over our heads. But unfortunately, that roof over our head is in the form of I'm going to buy a house, right? Do you know, by the way, the average black man makes about $45,000 a year? What can you do with $45,000 a year?
That means after tax, you're taking home about what, $3,000, $3,200, and your rent is $2,000. So you got $1,200 to pay for the car, buy food, send your kids to school. It's done. It's gone.
And then let's talk about the psychological portion of it. Your wife wants more. Your kids want more than you can physically give
Yes.
them. No matter how much overtime you work. And then as you work overtime, what happens? Then you're absent father. The same goes for the women, by the way, because then strong women may say, no, I'll pick up the slack, honey. We're going to do this together. And then comes an absent mother. While work is happening, Wayne, while work is happening, there is no room to stop and think about what is our real financial goal. When do we pay ourselves first? So we pay the light bills, we pay the car note, we pay the car insurance, we pay the credit card, we pay to take our family to eat out because you got to help, you got to feed them, you got to take care of them, you got to have family time, and then we go back to work. So we do not pay ourselves first. Paying yourself first just literally means lunchtime, $10. If you make $10 a day, just lunch. If you have lunch, pay yourself $10 for lunch. Do you know if you pay yourself $10 a day, 30 days, it's $300?
Yep.
Well, why do we want to pay ourselves? We want to go instead, we want to get Starbucks to go into work. Pay yourself.
And that right there, you're right. That's financial literacy. Pay yourselves $10 a day for lunch and figure out how to deliver it to yourself. And you'll save, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, when people ask me that question, it's because that's a loaded question, but when people ask me that question, I ask them that same question. Do you pay yourself? Because financial literacy 101 starts with the ability to know that you need not to walk past a penny on the street, Wayne. Pick it up. It's money. It's money. You know, 1 penny times 5 pennies is,
5 pennies.
and 10 of those is a dime.
Yep.
But we don't understand it. If it's not a dollar on the street, if it's not paper, we're not picking it up. We walk past 25 cents quarters on the street. So a lot of times we have no relationship with money. We have we are psychologically made to not have any relationship with money. What do I mean by that is you go to work, you get paid, you bring the money home, and you take care of yourself. As long as you have the ability to go to work the next day, you're okay, your family's okay, and you look at the neighbor and see that the neighbor doesn't have what you have, and you think that the neighbor is not okay. But you cannot even help your neighbor because you yourself is on the brink. It takes about $300 to change a car tire, right? Guess what? Three-quarters of America do not have $300 in their account. But if you're able to save $10 a day, see, I'm coming back to that $10 a day because people think that it's not a lot. Can you save $2 a day? People, you hear people talk about 10%. Every money you make, save 10%. It's not a cliche. 10% is not a lot. So we talk about these simple concepts. So one concept, pay yourself first.
Right. And keep in mind, we have about 5 minutes. Sorry.
No problem. Pay yourself first. The second concept that we always talk about is a concept called a financial foundation.
Financial foundation. Good.
Financial foundation includes proper protection. So you talk about it, some of it. Your health insurance or your health care, right? Your ability to eat what you want to eat, drink what you want to drink, that is healthy. But if you have no income, if you have no money, then yes, you're going to eat whatever is on the table. And yes, it will lead to illness.
Yeah.
And that illness, unfortunately, now you cannot go to work. So now you cannot go to work because you don't have proper nutrition. Your children cannot go to school and study because they don't have proper nutrition. So that in the mind they can't function. And sometimes, unfortunately, they also develop these all these different type of ailments. I've seen it when someone will say, "Oh no, she's just gazing off." No, the child is hungry, Wayne. The child is not gazing off from the teacher. The child is hungry. She can't
Yep.
function.
That brain has to be fed, man.
Has to be fed. Has to be fed. So the financial foundation also talks about saving saving more, spending less. So you stay out of debt. And then by staying out of debt, then you can create an emergency fund. By creating an emergency fund, then now you can have what we call the ability to create interest, right? So now you have money where you can actually put aside for your family. Financial foundation. But those two concepts is huge. Most people don't know that these two concepts even exist. I'll give you one better. There is actually a formula for wealth. I'll leave you with that one. There actually is a formula for wealth. If you follow it, you will be wealthy in these United States. But unfortunately, what do? We don't have the financial knowledge. We don't want anybody to talk to us about our money because it's ours. We made it. We earned it. It's ours. We don't even want in our relationship, husband, wives, brother, sister, father, mother, we don't even want each other to know how much we have. But if you don't have, you run to each other. If you don't have, you run to each other to borrow. But wouldn't it be nice if I would be able to say, man, guess what? I just made a little bit of money overtime. I'm going to give it to you, put it away,
Right.
or have it just in case you need it.
That tax return, all that stuff. Yeah.
Tax return, all of that stuff. But having no income is what creates poverty. But having no financial literacy is what keeps us in poverty. Poverty creation is not something that just comes out of the blue. right? You hear Dr. King say it, and I'll end with this. You hear Dr. King say, each man must be created equal. The equality he's talking about is having the ability to go to work,
Right.
each person for themselves. But after work, what do you do with the money? The literacy was never taught to us because we were not told to keep money because we were illiterate around money. So I don't know how money work because I'm illiterate. I can't learn, I can't comprehend. Therefore, I cannot have the power over my own
Yeah.
mind because I don't have the power over my own mind.
Yep. And unfortunately, we're pretty much out of time, man. But I do appreciate where this is going and how this is going. We're going to have to do a follow up. Of course, Nadine or yourself will be back next month because this is a month that I just wanted for the convenience of, you know, her on this week. But I appreciate it. Do share how we can reach you and your company and work on our financial literacy foundation and knowledge and learn to create the assets we need to have.
Awesome. So again, my name is Keith Simon. You can always reach me at Keith's Financial Fix. Everything Keith's Financial Fix. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's Keith's Financial Fix. I'll give you my phone number as well. It's public knowledge. It's out there. Uh, so it's 404-285-1429.
I'm going to ask you to say that again, Keith.
Absolutely. 404-285-1429. That is 404-285-1429.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Man, listen, we can't share enough on this topic. I had no clue, like I said at the start, that this is January is typically Poverty Awareness Month. But you listen to this in closing. The poverty rate in the United States increased from 9.3% in June to 11.7% in November. And that's the biggest increase in 1 year since 1960. We wonder about the election results. We're wondering why people are get desperate and listening to somebody who'll just promise stuff. Poverty is real. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
You take care.